around here. There's a bunch of crooks around here.
You ain't supposed to be in that jail, boy. Get over there, man.
No, that's a total no, man. Bad coming.
Is my salary going up?
The Bahamian people got to wake up.
This is my 5 cents and I approve this message.
Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into MV12 Weekend, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, the opposition deputy leader says women's rights are not a priority of government. Government told to give up on its failed mortgage relief program. Straw vendors say fewer tourists are visiting the market. Plus, it's not too late to get in shape for summer. We'll tell you how to get started. I'm Paige McCartney, and we've got those stories and more straight ahead on MV12 Weekend. Welcome once again to MB12. When June passed without the promised referendum being held on gender equality, there was no explanation given by government as to why there was a delay and when the poll would in fact take place. Prime Minister Perry Christie promised last year that the referendum would take place in June, while opposition deputy leader Loretta Butler Turner said it's a disservice to the country and an insult to women that a referendum on gender equality is not a priority of government.
The fact that the government has missed a self-imposed deadline for the third time really begs to ask the question whether or not they're serious about gender equality. This is not about just women. Gender equality, women's rights, and equality is human rights. At the end of the day, when we talk about the rights for women, it's not just for them to be able to have access that our male counterparts have. It's about our children being able to be full Bahamians.
Prime Minister Perry Christie had originally set the date for the referendum for June 2013. As that date neared, the Christie administration abandoned that plan and said the referendum would take place in November 2013. Then on October 2nd, the Prime Minister said the referendum bills would be brought to Parliament before the end of 2013 and passed by February 2014. He announced that the critical poll would take place before the end of June 2014 after a public education campaign. No bills have been tabled and the public education campaign has yet to begin. However, National Security Minister Dr. Bernard Notich said recently that the educational process ahead of a referendum on gender equality will begin shortly. But Notich, who is responsible for elections, did not say when the government hopes to call the referendum. Butler Turner said even though the disabled community has recently gotten its long-awaited bill passed in Parliament, disabled women are still at a disadvantage.
Within that bill, there is equality for disabled individuals, males, females, and children. But yet, they will never realize full equality given the fact that we don't have equality for women under our Constitution. To say that I'm very disappointed, probably very frustrated, probably even doubting whether in fact we will see such a referendum during this administration is not to overstate my position.
Butler Turner added that constitutional infringements on the rights of women in the Bahamas have greater implications for national development.
One of the biggest things that we need to take note of is the attrition of the amount of young people we're losing, brain drain to other countries. This is only going to compound that, because the longer we take in regularizing the citizenship of our women who've had children in foreign countries for foreign spouses, the more we're going to continue to lose our intellect.
And as it relates to the gender equality bills, Constitutional Commissioner Sean McQueenie said he understands Prime Minister Christie intends to reach out to the leaders of the official opposition and Democratic National Alliance in an attempt to develop a broad base of support before actually getting into the referendum exercise. Sands, who's also the F&M Deputy Chairman, spoke days after Prime Minister Christie revealed a team met last week to take a second look at the program. Sands insisted the promise is simply a tease for distressed homeowners.
And what the Right Honourable Prime Minister is doing is teasing struggling Bahamian people, offering them, promising them something that he does not intend to deliver on. If he were to deliver on it, it would come at an unbelievable increase in the national debt, because we already know that we're working with a fiscal deficit. So we're going to borrow the money so that now everybody in the country is in more debt, so that we could throw good money after bad.
The PLP's pledge to bring mortgage relief was formally introduced on April 1st, 2012, during the final weeks of campaigning for the general election. The government allocated $10 million for the plan in September 2012. However, few qualified. According to government's figures released that year, there were around 4,000 homeowners in arrears. Minister of State for Finance Michael Halkitis initially projected that 1,100 Bahamians would qualify for the plan. In November 2013, Halkitis said only 150 out of the 400 applicants qualified for the plan. Since questioned what is now being done with the funds that were allocated.
We don't know what happened to the $10 million, and I doubt that we're going to know what will happen to the money that gets allocated for this mortgage relief plan.
The F&M deputy chairman added, if the PLP wants to help Bahamians, they should focus on building the economy.
This plan cannot work. It will not work.
And the Bahamas government is joining nations around the world in expressing condolences to the governments and peoples of Malaysia, the Netherlands, Australia, Indonesia, the United Kingdom, Belgium, the Philippines, New Zealand, Canada, and the United States on the loss of MH Flight 17 while flying over Ukraine. A statement released by government today called for the strongest action by the international community to ensure that those who are responsible for this unspeakable tragedy are brought to justice. The statement read that the Bahamas stands with all the families who've lost their loved ones and their governments at this time, and government stands ready to assist in mobilizing international opinion to ensure that justice is served. Well, straw vendors say they're feeling a pinch in their business because fewer tourists are visiting the newly constructed straw market. President of the Straw Market Business Society, Reverend Esther Thompson, said vendors are told by tourists that many of them don't even know how to get to the market. She said the Straw Market Authority should do a better job promoting the downtown staple.
There's not enough tourists coming in the market to sustain the market. From the chairman before this chairman, the chairman before this one, we even asked for like signs for the market, because the tourists are saying when they're coming in to the harbor, the building, some say it looked like a warehouse, some say it looked like a church or whatever. So what we were asking is for them to put a sign on the building that is visible when the ship is coming in.
Thompson said now more than ever, vendors appear to be having a difficult time earning a living. She said it's evident in some vendors' inability to pay rent on their stalls.
Many of them light off, water off. Some of them are supplemented by social service, even though they work every day. So it is hard.
In other news tonight, Managing Director of Bahama Waste, Francisco de Cardenas, blames the government and the public for the increasing problem of illegal dumping. Residents from different areas of New Providence were concerned when they noticed piles of garbage through the track roads in their neighborhoods. De Cardenas is calling on the government for answers and solutions to get these areas cleaned up. Simone Davis has the story.
Managing Director of Bahama Waste, Francisco de Cardenas, said some people have now become careless when it comes to keeping the city clean, and the Ministry of Environment should get involved and do something about this immediately. He said there should be stiffer penalties for people who carelessly participate in illegal dumping.
There are still some people on this island that feel that they don't have to abide by the laws of this country and go into the landfill to dump what they've collected or what they've cleaned out, and just find an alley somewhere or a back road and dump their load in the bush. When the public sees this happening, I think the public is the one that has to bring it to the attention of the Department of Environmental Health. And it would be great if these people could be prosecuted, and so we could stop the illegal dumping. I mean, that's part of the problem, that people are just doing, they don't care. Just like you drive down the road and you see people throwing beer bottles out of the window and fast food bags out of the window. It just shouldn't be happening. And should these people get pulled over and ticketed and have to pay a fine or something, it would probably stop.
De Cardenas stressed that although he has been receiving calls from concerned residents, he wants them to know that Bahama Waste is not responsible for those acts because they do their part as a company. He said the responsibility lies within the government, as it is their duty to ensure that the entire island remains presentable to its residents and visitors.
It really is the government's responsibility to get this under control. I know that the landfill has had its issues, and people hate going to the landfill because you go in there and you ruin a tire, or it's just not a pleasant place to be. And if it were to be made a little bit more appealing to the public, and more user friendly, that might solve a lot of the problem.
Now, as you can see behind me, this is just one of the dumping sites located through a track road just off JFK. This is one of the many sites used for illegal dumping. Our news team made several attempts to contact the Minister of Environment, Kenrick Dorsett, but he was unavailable for comment up until news time. Reporting for NB12, I'm Simone Davis.
Stay with us. When we return, the new head of the Water and Sewage Union talks about issues at the corporation. We've got more after this quick break. Stay with us.